We greet you all in the divine power of the infinite consciousness. We call our creator, by name I'm called Zawadi, and I welcome you to this presentation. Today is a special day. We say Happy New Year to everybody. Yes, I am, according to our own calendar, this side, today marks the beginning of our year, right? Some people can be surprised to and ask what we're talking about, because they've been made to believe that the new year is in January the 1st. But the truth of the matter is, let us talk about time. Time in essence is divine, actually. So how do we measure time? Time is measured through the repetitive cycles, the phenomenon, of the repetitive essence of, or the cycle of things, right? So when you look at seasons go on cycles. When you look at the sun and the moon, the rising and the setting of the same is all in cycles, right? So we calculate time according to the cycles of the moon and the cycles of the sun, right? So the sun determines the day and the night, and the moon determine the month. Actually, this is English. It's actually the month, not the month. The moon, because that cycle is calculated in the cycle of the moon, right? Then we measure time according to the solstice and the equinoxes, right? This is that is the cyclical nature, the solstice, the equinox, the solstice, and the equinox, right? So according to us, since ever ancient time, our year begins in this month we in Nguni languages or isiZulu call umandulo, which according to the Gregorian calendar is September, right? So we this is a period of the resurrection of life, the revival of life, the refueling and the rebirth of life. Even nature out there can be the evidence of that, because even if we haven't received rain, but you can see grasses are beginning to be green, trees are beginning to grow new shoots again. Why? Because the energies of nature released by the body of nature right now in this period are the ones that make a vegetation be able to regenerate food, regrow shoots, be green again. So this is the beginning of our year, right? So our calendar is also full of many events which we call national ceremonies, right? So we have different national ceremonies as different ethnic groups or tribes, but we all have that essence of having national ceremonies that are celebrated throughout the course of the year, and also time determines our life activities, right? According to our ancient calendar, where right now is the period, is the agricultural period where we start, going to the field to start tilling the land in the field, to start agricultural activities of cultivation and sowing, right? Then when it comes to the times of January, February, according to natural ancient climate, that was the time wherein everything was just fine, getting ripe in the field, right? But things have changed, yes, in terms of the cycles in our climate, right? So yeah, according to our own calendar, this is the day of our new year, in this month of Umandulo. You're right. So yeah, man. Let us briefly discuss the Gregorian calendar. The Gregorian calendar is a scam. It's a religious calendar, that is even not applicable, relevant, and true even to the Europeans themselves, right? Because at the end of the day, look at their months. When you look at a sept, that is number 9. Dec or des, that is number 10, so how can it be, if there's December, there's be number 10, yet December they say is the end of the calendar. How can their calendar end on the 10th month? It doesn't make sense. So actually what happened is there was a group of people, headed by Pope Gregory. They decided, to disconnect human beings from the order of nature, from the cyclical essence of nature, so that human beings, can be connected unto some other frequencies. Remember, everything is energy, and we're living in a multi-dimensional, a spectrum, right? So in the ancient time, they didn't use this calendar, even the Europeans themselves, until Pope Gregory decided with his crew to design a new calendar that is disconnecting human beings from the infinite consciousness. We can call the God or goddess or the creators, right? They wanted people to be attuned into other frequencies. That is why you see their ancestor names in their Gregorian calendar. Each and every calendar of any group of people begins in spring. Our spring happens in this time of Inyanga Kamandulo. But the spring in other geographical spheres, like in Europe, is in such month as March, right? March, April, that is that period of spring therein. So their year can't begin in January. That's impossible, So they decided to include certain ancestors and certain gods also, which they adored or worshipped into this new calendar, which is now called the Gregorian calendar, according to what? The name of Pope Gregory of, Rome. So months like January are from the Janus. Janus is the double-faced, a god, of the Romans and also the Greeks. You have such a names like Augustus, names like July. July is from Julius Caesar. So they decided to put certain national ancestors, into this new calendar thing now called the Gregorian calendar. It has no meaning. We can say it is actually demonic, because anything that takes you away from the harmony of nature is destabilizing your life, is fracturing, your connection between the body of life, the energies of life, the infinite consciousness. So it's a demonic calendar, right? Which has the demonic people who push the demonic culture have their own rituals. That is why, and the rituals are rituals of human sacrifice. Is an ancient belief system, tradition, and culture of certain groupings of people, therein in Europe. They still do it even right now. Right, and amazingly, is the most so-called powerful, influential, people in authority of the world. They are the people that are still continuing with this tradition of human sacrifice. So they make sure that the traditions of their ancient ancestors are still upheld. So they didn't change anything. They just they just sugar-coated things. As an example, they'll tell you that 25 December, this is the birth of Christ. Some say that, but then no. How can it be? It can be. But look what happens in December. So much human blood flows on the ground. There's so much human sacrifice, so many accidents, so many people dying, so many people attacking each other. And equally, in the period where they say, this is the period of Easter, the crucifixion, this is a point also equally where there is so much human blood flowing on the ground. There's so much human sacrifice, so many accidents, so many people killing each other, attacking each other. There is so much of demonic expression that happen during this time, and people get so drunk more and more during those period of time. Why? Because the gods of this Roman people and the Greek people and the gods of this calendar need to be worshipped, need to be fed. with human consciousness. So we say a happy new year unto everybody. This, may your energies be revived, renewed, reborn, rebuilt, rejuvenated, refueled as the year continues. May you also grow